Happy evening, everyone. I'm so glad to see so many of you have been waiting even before I could start the live and join the session on time with amazing level of eagerness, and that shows how dedicated and responsible you feel towards you in learning and upskilling you as a person. So Type in good evening or some other um, beautiful conversation words that we could have here in the chat. Thank you, Tabitha. Happy evening. Very good evening. Hi, Safa. Happy evening, Akshaya. Hi, Keetana. Yes. So as the energy is keeping on going, now we will directly get into today's session. Okay, so I hope you all would have received my message this evening and looking forward regarding whatever I have asked you in the text message. And having said that, I also hope that you have received the download file of Illustrator and also a tutorial guide on how to download and install the software in your systems. And I got to know from my team that some of you were asking if it is available for your mobile, but no, it is not for your mobile phones. It is only to be installed in your systems. So kindly install the software in your respective devices so that you can start practicing as we are getting deeper into the tools and techniques today. Okay, so having said that, now I will directly open my Illustrator interface. Okay. So this is the interface that I was addressing yesterday. So this is how Illustrator will look like if you are opening it. Okay. So when you open the software, this is the interface that you will be able to see. And here, since I worked on few other files recently, some of the files are showing here. But if in case this is your first time that you are using Illustrator, you might not be able to see anything over here because your Illustrator is brand new. Okay, so in that case, what you have to do is over here you will have some options which says start a new file fast. Okay, other than that, there is also another option given over here in the left side which says new file. Okay, so if you click on this new file, it will again give you a set of presets. Okay, these are all the things that are called as presets. Presets, presets. Okay, which means that these are all the already custom made or custom built or already available uh, artboard sizes. Okay, so yesterday we were discussing what is an artboard, and it is just to debrief whatever we went through yesterday. So artboard is like a paper. Okay, so as we draw or write on a paper, so it is like the similar logic applies over here. Artboard is like a paper, and whatever artwork you are doing, you will be doing within that artboard, which serves as a paper here in Illustrator. Okay, so here as soon as you give this new file, you will be opened with few presets. Okay, so here it shows recent, saved, mobile, web, print, film and video, art and illustration. Okay, so there are some ready-made presets available here in the menu. Okay, so here in the recent, the artboard sizes are shown according to whatever I have personally used in my system recently. Okay, in case if you are saving any particular size of artboard, that size or that artboard preference you will be able to see here in the saved tab. And next to it, if you switch to mobile, okay, so in mobile you have different sizes of artboards again. Okay, so in case, okay, imagine you are creating a poster or an Instagram story. Okay, per se, if you are creating an Instagram story, so obviously, whenever you go through your Instagram story, the story will be in a portrait view that covers your entire mobile screen. How many of you have noticed it? Type in me if you have noticed your Instagram story, which is in portrait that covers your entire mobile phone screen. Superb. So here, in case if you are a person who is going to create the Instagram story, okay, so for those people, you can access the mobile preset which are given over here. Okay, so randomly, usually when you are creating for your mobile phone, okay, which is going to be in a portrait orientation. Okay, usually it is always good that you choose this particular size. Please take a paper and a pen and make a note of which size you have to use. So it is always 1080 cross 1920. Please take a paper and a pen and write this size. So whenever you are creating a design, a poster for your phone, which is going to be as your Instagram story, your Facebook story, or WhatsApp status, and all, you have to choose the artboard which has this 1080 cross 1920 size. Okay, so this means that the width of the artboard, okay, the the area which is the width of your phone is 1920, sorry, 1080, and the height is 1920. Okay, so that is why it is indicated as 1080 cross 1920 pixels. Okay, so this is the preset that you have to choose if you are creating a design or a poster for your WhatsApp status or Facebook status or Instagram story or whichever it is. Okay, so here, yeah, so after you choose this, okay, so here you have another details, another set of details. Okay, so here, as you could see here, we are able to view that the preset detail says untitled 4. Okay, so this is nothing but the file name. Okay, whichever file name you are going to name. Now what I will do is I will just name this as RCWCC. Okay, so now I have named the preset details as RCWCC, and then next to it, here in the drop down, we have some other different options. Okay, so if I click the drop down, we do have other units. So we have pixels, points, picas, inches, feet, feet and inches, yards, millimeters, centimeters, and meters. Okay, so these are the different types of units. Okay, now imagine where you can change these units. Okay, so how many of us witness different types of movie posters, movie banners, and all outside movie theaters, right? So those type of posters or banners take a different size. Okay, in that aspect, so usually those kind of posters are measured in feet. Okay, so those type of posters are measured in feet. If you are creating a design for that kind of, when you are working for a standee design, or when you are working for not just movie banners, okay, when you are working for a corporate standee design, or you are working for someone who is going to have their standee in an expo. If you are going to work for or design something like this, over there you can switch this unit to feet. Okay, so over there you can also customize this feet. Now imagine I want this to be the width of the standee to be 3 feet. Okay, and the height of the standee I am requiring it to be 8 feet. Okay, and then once I hit create, my artboard's exact size will be 3 feet in width and 8 feet in height. Okay, then when I give it for printout, I will be able to see a standee which is really big, like how we are we might have seen in some exhibitions or expos or the movie banners or wherever. Okay, so like that you can switch between different units, okay, whichever you are working for. So this section is just to let you know that whichever unit you are fixing here, okay, the same the real time unit is calculated. Okay, these are not just for sake, these are the real time units that you will work for. Okay, so having said this, now I will switch it back into pixels. Okay, now when I set the pixels size, initially I set the width to 1080 and the height to 1920, but then when I switched it back to feet, okay, and then when I changed the feet size to 3 feet in width and 8 feet in height, okay, and again when I changed it to pixels, the pixels that are shown here is the converted value of my feet. Okay, so the width of 3 feet is converted to 2592 pixels. Okay, so that is how things will apply when you are bringing in a new design or artboard. Okay, now I will switch it back to 1080 cross 1920. Okay, it is always editable. Alright, so this is all about this section over here. And here you do have a section called as bleed. Okay, so this is in case if you are working for a standee or a business card or whatever it is. Okay, and here this bleed is used for you, for the designer to know that there is no assurance that your edges in the banner or the edges in the business card will remain the same as you design. Okay, there are possibilities that the edges can get cut. Okay, in those times you have to apply bleed. Okay, this also I will tell you maybe towards the end of the class. Okay, and Shruti has asked us a question here. I'll answer to that question towards the end, Shruti. Right? Fine. So now having said that, so whichever artboard or whichever size you are going to work, you can choose that particular artboard size, and then if you hit create, the artboard will be created. Okay, now what I am going to do is, since I am trying to show you a few demo or few designs, I need a bigger size artboard. Okay, so for that what I am doing is I will switch it to web. Okay, and then here I will choose this web large, which is 1920 cross 1080, while we previously saw it is 1080 cross 1920. Okay, which means the width is 1080 and the height is 1920. But here in web, when we see, the width is 1920 and the height is 1080. Okay, so I will just select this and then I will hit create. So as soon as I hit create, a new artboard is created for me. Okay. So this is how you will create a new artboard for whichever you are working. Okay. Show me your thumbs up smiley if you have understood all about artboards and its sizes. Superb. Yes. Now we will proceed further. Okay. So before we would proceed further, here I am registering that as yesterday you will get your attendance link today in the later part of the class. Okay. Be attentive whenever I tell you that your attendance link is open. You have to immediately go into that link, and then you have to get you registered that you are present here in today's class. Okay, so that it will help you in getting the certificate from Rotary Club of Madras Metro and in collaboration with Tech-iera Innovations. Okay, so yes, so stay attentive, and now we will proceed further to the next part. Okay, having said that, I forgot to tell you one thing. A few of you faced it to be difficult, that when you tried giving your attendance, the link was closed. Okay, so to avoid that kind of difficulty, whenever you are getting that link, please immediately go in and then register yourself. Okay, yes. Now proceeding further, yesterday I told you about artboard, how to create them, and how you can switch between colors, what is a fill color, what is a stroke color, and all that, right? And also I also gave you some insight, basic insight on the color palette, and also I told you how to bring in gradient colors and all that. Okay, now what we are going to do is we are going to explore few more tools in today's session. Okay, so here, as I was explaining you yesterday, here you have a box like kind of icon. Okay, when you select that, okay, and to put it as a disclaimer or an important part that you have to follow whenever you are handling, make sure that you are using your mouse when you are handling the software, because without mouse, if you are going to do it with your trackpad, you are going to find it difficult. Okay, so here, before we could proceed further, so whenever you want to choose a shape, okay, so you have to click on this rectangle. Okay, so if you are looking to draw a rectangle, you can just select that, and then keeping your mouse on this artboard, you can just click the left mouse button and then drag it how much ever big you want to create the rectangle, the shape that big you have to draw or drag your mouse. Okay, so as soon as you leave it, the shape is there. Okay, in case if you want to select or draw some other shapes, okay, so for that, what you have to do is you have to click and hold on this rectangle. Okay, whichever shape is shown here, you have to click and hold on that shape so that you will get few other options showing here. Okay, so the second shape that we have here is rounded rectangle tool. If I select that, okay, again I am just clicking and dragging. So now, even now, I have gotten a rectangle, but now when we closely observe, our rectangles edges, corners are rounded. They are not sharp. So previous rectangle when we drew, it was sharp. Now I'll just draw and show the difference between both. Okay, now I hope you are able to see the difference between rectangle and the rounded rectangle. So rectangle means the corners of the rectangle are sharp. Okay, they will not be rounded. But if you are choosing rounded rectangle tool, your corners of the shape will be rounded, will be curved. Okay, so this is the difference between rectangle and rounded rectangle. Now, having said this, we will proceed further to our next tool. Okay, now when you see this, okay, what I did was I just altered the rounded rectangle shape. Okay, when I tried to do that, the roundness in the corners of the shape has also shrinked here. Okay, it was not like previous. So rounded rectangle alone, whenever you are creating it, you always have to make sure that you are creating that shape in the exact size that you want it to be. Okay, so it is always the thing that you have to keep in mind. All right, so now what we'll do is we'll just go explore the other set of tools. So now here I will click and hold on this. Now I am going to choose this ellipse tool. Okay. So the third tool is ellipse tool. So ellipse is nothing but a circle. Okay. Now what I'll do is again, if we want to create a new shape, okay, just select the shape over here and then get your cursor on top of this artboard and then hold your left mouse button and drag it. Your shape is created. Okay, but now if you observe, does this look like a perfect circle? Type in yes if it looks like a perfect circle, or type in no if it does not look like a perfect circle. If it looks like a perfect circle, type yes. If it does not, or type in CIRCLE. Or if it does not look like a perfect circle, type in ELLIPSE, ellipse. Okay, Benita has said no, no, no. Very okay, fine, good. That this is an amazing set of decent answers, right? So now here we are going to learn one another important technique. Okay, so which is whenever you are drawing a new shape. Okay, whenever you are drawing a new shape, always you have to select that. Okay, hold shift button in your keyboard. Okay, please note all these things down in your notebook. Always when you are creating a new shape, okay, which you require to be created in a even size. Okay, so always you have to select that and hold shift button in your keyboard. After you click and hold shift. Okay, now if you try to drag your mouse, this is how the the perfect circle appears. Okay, so now I am not holding shift button. Okay, now I have left shift button. Now I will just drag my mouse. Okay, so here there are possibilities that I will tend to mess up with the shape. Okay, so it is always better if you want to create a perfect circle, you have to hold shift button and then draw the shape. Okay, so this is the difference between holding shift and not holding shift. Okay, the same now, since that we have learnt this previously, when I wanted to create a rectangle, I did not hold shift. Okay, now if I want to create a perfect square, I don't have a separate tool for creating square and all. Okay, so I am just going to the rectangle tool. Now I am holding shift and then I am drawing in the rectangle. which will give me a perfect square. Okay, so this is how you can create perfect shapes of square or circle when you hold shift and when you don't hold shift. Okay, it is not anything wrong if you are not holding shift, but depending on the places or depending on the shapes you want to draw, holding shift will help you with that. All right. So this is the difference between holding shift and creating shapes and not holding shift and creating shapes. Now we will go further and then we'll explore even more shapes here. Next to the ellipse tool, we have a tool called as polygon tool. Okay. So here the polygon tool refers to different edges of polygon. You can create a triangle, square, pentagon, hexagon, octagon, how much ever you want to expand its edges. So those many shapes you can create with this polygon tool. Okay. Now as soon as I shifted to polygon tool, and again what I am doing is I am just holding on shift. Okay. Now I am holding on shift and then I am drawing a shape, drawing the polygon shape. Okay. So now once I drew the polygon shape, okay, now I have selected the polygon. All right. And here yesterday I was talking about this properties tab. Okay. So if I select the properties tab, there will be few elements, a few options shown over here. Okay. In that, under this section which reads the text transform, okay, by selecting this polygon, if you click on the three dots available over here, okay, so you will have few other options showing up when you click on the three dots which are here. All right. So once you do that, okay, here you have a slider kind of appearance. Okay, this slider basically helps you to regulate the number of edges present here in the polygon. Okay, so now we have some six different edges here in this polygon shape. Okay, what do you call a six edges polygon as? Type in whichever shape is called as dash if it has six edges. Which shape is addressed as how if it has six edges? Type in the answer. Okay, let's wait people to respond, right? Hexagon, hexagon, superb. So the shape that has some six edges is addressed as hexagon. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we will click on the three dots and then we will try to move this slider to the left. Now I have moved the slider to the left. Okay, now the count here reads 3. Okay, so that we are able to see a triangle over here. Okay, so if we gradually increase this slider, okay, now the size here, now the number here reads 4. So we are able to see a square. As we move the slider, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 and till 20 I can go. Okay. So once I choose that 20, so there will be a circle formed with 20 edges. Okay, so this is how you can draw a polygon and bring in different shapes just with creating one polygon. Okay, so this option will be available only for this polygon, and I mean polygon, not for other shapes, not for the rectangle or circle or anything else. Okay, just whenever you are selecting this polygon tool, you will be able to make in or bring in different shapes that were shown here right now. Okay, so now next to this polygon, we do have a star tool. Okay, so as the name reads out, it creates different stars. Okay, so now I have drawn a star, and now I have clicked on the very same three dots as earlier. Now are you able to see that different a slider in bringing in different edges for this star? No, right? So that is how different, I mean, the polygon tool gives you the difference between it and the other shapes. Okay, so this is the star tool. All right, so whenever you want to create a star, you can just go here, go select this star tool and create different types of stars that you want. All right, now what we are going to do is, now that we have known how to draw shapes, okay, now we will see how to select a shape and how to edit a shape. Okay, so whenever you want to select something in your Illustrator, okay, so here you will have the arrow mark which shows, which is shown in the first place. Okay, so you will have two different arrow marks actually. So one without the fill color, just with the border, and one with the fill color which doesn't have a border. Okay, so you have to choose the first arrow mark that is shown here, just with the border but without anything inside filled. Okay, so this is the selection tool. So the shortcut for the selection tool is V. Okay, V in your keyboard. Please note it down. The shortcut for the selection tool is V. Okay, if you forget this shortcut, it is this icon which is showing up here. All right, so once you select this tool, okay, you will be able to select any shape or any element that you have drawn here in the artboard. Okay, now I have selected it, and now I can access or move any shape that I am having here in the artboard. Okay, not just that, not just moving a shape. Okay, not just moving, but yesterday we were seeing about four different blue dots. So few of you addressed four different blue dots before we learned about points. Okay, so these four different blue dots that you are able to see here when your selection tool is on, okay, these four dots represent that you can curve the edges. Okay, so now I have this blue dot here. I'll just zoom into it. Okay, now I have the shape zoomed in here. Now what I am going to do is, I will just click on the blue dot and pull it forward. So as I do that, can you see your four corners are being rounded? Okay, so if I pull it to the end of it, so I get a shape like this. Again, if you don't want the corners to be rounded, you can again pull it back like this, so that the corners will be again sharp. Okay, so this is how these are called as nodes. Nodes, node. Okay, so if you want to curve something, you can use these nodes, and if you don't want, you can make it sharp again. All right, so this is another one tool that you have to know. So now what we will do is, now that some of you might get a question that will you be able to curve all the edges, all the corners together? Okay, can't you just curve only one corner or two corners? Okay, so for them, here is the answer. So here, as we open, I mean, by selecting the shape, okay, here you have the properties option. So once you select that, right, so here you do have the basic properties where you have this x-axis, y-axis alignment and all that. So next to it, if you click on this three dots, okay, so when you tend to click on this link, okay, so here there will be an appearance of a chain. Okay, if you click and usually it is selected, but if you remove it, okay, it means that you don't want equal roundness in all the corners. Okay, now what will happen is, even now when I tend to drag it, the corners are becoming round in all the sides. Okay, now what I can do is I can increase the corners here separately. Okay, so when I do this, it means that I want roundness in that corner alone. Can you see it now? So here in the top left corner alone, my edge is rounded. I mean, my point is rounded. In all the other places, it is still sharp. Okay, so like this, you will be able to see in some shapes or some posters that you come across. So only one side, the corner will be rounded. Okay, so to do that, what you have to do is open your properties panel, click on the three dots, then remove this clip or remove this chain like thing which is selected, remove it, and then you can increase and decrease the roundedness size. Okay, now I have decreased it to 0 pixels, so which is giving me a sharp corner. So like that, I can regulate whichever or wherever I just want the roundness to happen. Okay, you can also manually type in number here. Okay, now I'll just select it. I'll just type in 200 for us to see the difference majorly. Okay, now when you see it, are you able to note the difference between the rounded corner uh, and the sharp edges? Right, so this is how things will appear. All right, so this is how you can just alter your shapes by selecting the selection tool. Okay, now we were seeing about the alterations in selection tool. Okay, now that if we want to make the size of the shape a bit smaller. Okay, so in that regard, what we have to do is hold shift. Okay, if you want to make the change equally in all the sides. Okay, like how we held shift and then drew a perfect circle and a perfect square. So like that, again I'm going to hold shift. Now if I scale it, it will be scaled equally from all the sides. Okay, can you see the difference? Now I am holding shift and I am decreasing its size. Okay, now what I will do is I have taken my hand from the shift button in my keyboard. Now I am trying to scale it. So can you see, notice the difference? So previously I was able to scale it so confidently from all the sides equally. Okay, but now as I have taken my hand from the shift button, I am not able to scale the shape equally. Okay, so if you want to scale means in colloquial terms it is referred as zooming in and zooming out. Okay, but technically it is called as scaling. All right, so if you want to scale something or scale out something, equally from all the sides, you have to hold shift, and then if you keep your cursor by selecting the selection tool, okay, here some two arrow marks like this will appear. Okay, the straight arrow marks. So you have to hold shift and click your left mouse button and drag in inside or outside depending on what you want to do to the shape. If you want to make it bigger, you can drag outside. If you want to make it smaller, you can drag inside. Okay, in case if you want to rotate the shape, okay, in that aspect what you have to do is, when you keep your cursor, the selection tool, in the corner of the shape, okay, so again you will be able to see some two different arrow marks, okay, but it will be different from the scaling tool. So when you keep it here like this, right above, right on top of the corner, the point, you will be able to see some two straight arrow marks facing each other opposite. Okay, but the same selection tool, if you bring it a bit below that point, okay, you will be still able to see two different arrow marks, okay, which has the arrow ends in two sides of the icon. Okay, so in this when this kind of appearance is there, you can just click on the left mouse button and then roll your, just gradually drag your mouse to rotate it, okay, so that you will be able to rotate the shape. All right, so this is how you can create or you can bring in changes to your objects. All right, any questions or doubts till now? If there is anything, can you please post in one word if you have understood it? Just type in UNDERSTOOD if you have understood it, or if you have a question, you can please type in that. I'll give you a quick 1 minute of time so that you can get your doubts and things clarified. If you have understood it, type in UNDERSTOOD. If you have a question, type in that question. Okay, superb. Fine. You have started receiving the answers. Very good. Right. So now, what we are going to do is we are going to explore the same, properties for. Okay. So Tabitha has asked a doubt. How do I rotate the shape? So if you want to rotate the shape, you have to keep your cursor in the corner of a shape. Okay, by selecting this selection tool, you just have to keep your cursor near the corner. Okay, once you keep it, you will have a shape which is shown like this. Okay, so when you are getting this kind of icon, okay, it means that you can rotate it anyhow you want it to be. Okay, the difference between this rotation and scaling is, can you see the switch between the icons? I will also move it close. So when I keep it right on top of it, I am able, okay, as of now, what I'll do is I'll remove this stroke and then I'll add in some lighter color so you are able to see the difference. Okay. Now, as I move it, as I zoom it so much, yeah. So as I keep the selection tool right on top of the corner, I get two arrow marks facing each other in opposite direction. If I want to rotate it, if I want to scale it, I should keep my selection tool like this and hold shift and scale it down or up. Okay, if I want to rotate it, the same selection tool, I just have to keep a bit near the point. Okay, so that I can bring in rotation. Okay, now I'll just zoom out and show you that. Okay, so this is the difference between scaling and rotation. Okay, done. So we will go to the next option that we have. Okay. So now this is how you can regulate your sizes or scaling or rotation or selection to your shapes, any shape or anything that you have. Okay. Now some of us might have a doubt. If we are handling the shapes, okay, this is fine and clear. But what do we do when we choose to write a text? Okay, so here in Illustrator we do have a text tool as well. Okay, so for that the shortcut to access the text tool is T. Okay, T as in T-E-X-T, T. All right, so if you press T in your keyboard, text tool will be activated. If not, you can just click on this T that you have here in the toolbar. If you click on this, a new text tool will be created. Okay, now if you just click on the space in the artboard, a text layer or the text will be created. Now here you can type in your respective text to convey whatever you want. Now I have typed in hello world. Okay, similarly as we had with the shapes, like for scaling, I am holding shift and I am clicking on this corner and dragging out and dragging in. The same way, if I want to rotate my text, I can rotate it this way as I did for the shapes. Okay, this is how you can handle between the scale tool, rotation tool and selection tool if you want to handle between all the different shapes or the text or whatever. Okay, but when you are dealing the text, okay, you have to be a bit more cautious, because whenever we as beginners tend to write a new text, what we will do is we will click on text tool, we will type in whatever we want to type. Then what we tend to do is we again try to forget that we have to go to the selection tool if we want to make any changes to the text. Okay, so if in case I cannot scale my text just by giving in text tool. Okay, now what I did was I just did not get back to the selection tool. I just dragged in my mouse just by keeping the text tool on. So what happened, it created different lines of text. Okay, so in this aspect, whenever you are creating a new text, what you have to do is once you have typed the text, you have to either click on escape button in your keyboard. If not, you just have to move your cursor, bring it to the selection tool and then select the text, so that you will be able to make the considerable changes to the text. All right. So this is how you can deal between the text and the shapes. Clear? Now we are going further and then we will see, explore different, the same selection tool for different shapes. Okay, this rectangle we saw it. Now we'll just see this nodes the scaling, the rounded corner scaling for this square. Now, as I bring the node inside, okay, I get a circle. Okay, my square has changed to a circle. Again, if I don't want this circle, I can click on this node which is here and I can move it back. Now, since I held on only one node and brought it, it has given me a different shape. If you don't want any roundedness, you can just click on the center part and then you can bring it like this so that your square shape will be retained. So similarly, now we will see for the star. Okay, so here, are we able to see any node here for the star? No, we will not be able to see. There is a different thing that you have to deal in when you are dealing with the star. Okay, now I'll go to the, I'll be explaining it to you after this. So now, as of now, I'll move further to the triangle shape, which is here, which we drew out of the polygon. Okay, so here I have the node again. When I hold it and bring it inside, I am able to see that my triangle is being rounded from all the sides. Okay, which indicates that I am creating a rounded corners for my polygon. If I move it completely in, again, this is turned into a circle shape. When I move it again, this is again created into a triangle which has sharp edges. Now to show you the difference, I am going to the polygon tool again. Okay, I will again create a polygon. As I create the polygon, can you see there is one rounded corner which is shown here. Now, if I again try to bring in the rounded corner, here I am able to see that the polygon corners are rounded here in this shape. Okay, so this is how you can create rounded corners just by holding on the node which looks like this. Okay, there will be a blue circle outline and then there will be a blue dot inside it. All right. So now, similarly for all the other shapes as well. Okay, so now we are going to see one other different tool. Okay, now till now we were seeing about selection tool, okay, which uses the shortcut V. Okay, now we are going to see another tool which uses shortcut A. Okay, which is the arrow mark right next to our selection tool. Okay, so when we click on this tool, there is another tool which is coming up, which is called as direct selection tool. DIRECT selection tool. Okay, this is the tool. You will be able to read the tool name here. And the shortcut for this direct selection tool is A. A in your keyboard. Okay, now I am clicking on A in my keyboard and just observe this selection tool getting shifted to the direct selection tool. Now I held A. So now automatically the option got switched to the direct selection tool. This direct selection tool allows you to make minute changes or major changes to your shapes. Okay, so far with the selection tool, we were able to, can I able to change on one side? Shruti, can you please be elaborate with your question? I'm not able to understand your question. Meanwhile, you type that. I will just tell the difference between the selection tool and the direct selection tool. Okay, so in selection tool, we will be able to make changes to the objects on a whole. Okay, we can make changes the object entirely. All right, but in direct selection tool, yesterday we learned about points, right? So we can make changes to the object, to the shape by points. Okay. Shruti, what to do when we want to drag on one side only? You mean that you want to drag in the rounded edges on one side only? Okay. Shruti, maybe please hold on to your question. We will get to that question towards the end of the class. Okay. Yes, thanks for that. So now we're coming back to the direct selection tool. So when we talk about the difference between the selection tool and the direct selection tool, it means that um, in the selection tool, we can make changes to the object on a whole. Okay, we can completely scale it or scale in and rotate it. All these type of things we will be able to do with the selection tool. Okay, but when we are dealing with the direct selection tool, okay, we can make changes to our objects point by point. Okay, so yesterday we learned that there are a few points that join together with a line which gives us a shape. Okay, so here I am holding on to one point. Okay, now I have clicked on this point alone, which is on top left corner, and as I move this point, I will be able to make changes to my shape just by selecting that point. Okay, now as you are seeing here, I am able to make changes to this entire shape just by holding one point. Now I'll just move the point here. Okay, and this point, now I am selecting the other point here. Okay, now again I am bringing this point till here. Okay, are you able to notice that there is one additional handle when I click on the point which is here? Okay, it means that this is called as arc handle. ARC handle, arc handle. Okay, what does this handle do? If you are ever seeing this type of arc handle, it means that you can make changes by holding on to the arc handle. So you can make changes to your shape just by holding on to the arc handle like this. So whichever that is, if you could see it very well, you can see that there is change happening only from this arc handle to this arc handle. It will not make change to the entire object. Just if you hold in this arc handle and try to move it or pull it or move it wherever you want, you will be able to clearly see that the changes are made between this point and this point. Okay, so the places after this point where we are having another arc handle are not impacted, are just remaining the same. Okay, so this is the power of handle. Okay, now what I will do is I will tend to move this arc handle and let's observe which part of the shape is getting affected again. So previously when we held on to this arc handle, we were able to control the shape from top. Okay, but now when I try to hold on this arc handle which is over here, I am able to make changes from the bottom part of the shape. So this is how we can make changes to our shape using the arc handles. Okay, so when will you get these arc handles? So whenever there are nodes like this showing up. Okay, so in the selection tool, when you are clicking this selection tool, you will not be able to see the arc handles. When you are in the direct selection tool, only then you will be able to see the respective arc handles. All right, so only then you can make complete changes to your shapes. All right, so now what I am trying to do is, here I get to see a node. Okay, now I am trying to curve the node. As I try to curve the node, can you see that one point, one sharp edge is converted to two different points here? So what will happen is, as I try to move it, okay, so as I try to hold on it, so both the points have their own arc handles. Okay, so wherever you have made changes, or wherever you have made the rounded corners, over there you will have the arc handles appearing. Okay, so using these arc handles, you can create how many ever shapes or whatever. If you want to make something very sharp, you can make it look like that. Or if you want to bring in some minute alterations to your shapes, you can do that. So all these types of things can be made using these arc handles and nodes. Okay, so just I had only one shape, which was a square or rectangle. Now my shape looks very abstract. Okay, it does not have that kind of defined shape in it, right? So type in understood, or type in any one thing that impressed you so much in this session till now, just in a word, so that I can know that you people are with me. Yes, I am starting to receive the answers. Superb. Any one thing that impressed you so much, or any one technique that was like amazing for you, whichever you have learned? Okay, Fatima has said she has understood. Others, okay. I am just expecting someone to type in some interesting technique that you learned in today's session so far. Just type it in one word. Arc handle has fascinated Srivashni, it seems. Okay, okay. So I am also getting a couple of arc handle answers. Good. All right. So as I am going to proceed further, here I would like to register that there is no limitation for creativity. Okay, I cannot. I mean, I can just tell you the tool usage and all that. Okay, but it is all in your creativity, like what you want to create and how you are going to do that, right? So this can be attained only when you keep practicing. So if you want to hear a lot from us, to hear a lot of techniques wherein you can practice so much, you can please keep subscribing the channel Tech-iera Innovations, in which you are viewing this live right now. Okay, so only then you can keep a track on all the recordings that we are doing throughout this entire session, and also we will try to post few other different tools and techniques that can be really admiring and inspiring for you to bring in a lot of creativity in your artworks. Yes, so having said that, we will now proceed for further for our another tool. Okay, now what we are going to do is, so now here I told you what is a selection tool, what is direct selection tool, how to create a good shape, how to create a fulfilling, or how to create an even shape and all that, and how to fill in a shape, and how to create rounded corners and all that, right? So here I have brought in one reference image where we are going to recreate the same image. Okay. So here I have taken one image. I am just dragging it and dropping it here. All right. So is anyone able to relate where you have seen this kind of image? Can you type in where you have seen this image in one word? Where have you seen? Where, what is your memory when you look at this image? Anywhere have you seen this particular character or particular appearance? Games? Mario. Yes, exactly. Yes. So here, here we get answers that this character is seen in Mario games, right? So we will try to recreate the entire scene in using our Illustrator. Okay. So what we are going to do is, now here you guys are going to guide me with the creation, with the exact replica of this entire image. Okay. So what can be the first step that I can follow in order to create this the outline of this image? What is the step that I can follow? You can just type in instructions in one word or two words. So what is the first, I mean, the task for us is to replicate, is to recreate the same image. So what is the first step that I can do? You can just take a moment's time. You can just look at this image. Our task is to recreate the same thing. So what is the first step we can follow to recreate the same image? You can type in your instructions in one word or two words so that I can look at them and do the same. Okay, Shruti is telling that it is selection tool that I have to handle. Okay, outline border, rectangle, the background, right? So first we have to create the background using the rectangle tool. Okay, so here I am going to select this rectangle tool. All right, so to match with the exact shape, here now I am not holding shift icon, sorry, shift button, because we need to create a rectangle. We don't need to create a square. In order to create a square, I can hold the shift button. Now here I am trying to create a rectangle which does not require holding the shift icon. Okay, so now I have drawn a rectangle. But now what is the problem? We have the rectangle here in pink color fill. Okay, so to change this fill color, what we have to do? What's the second instruction that I have to follow? Yes, what's your second instruction for me that I have to follow? Okay. So yes, I have created the outline border, the rectangle. Now what is the second instruction that I can follow? Okay. So as your answers are keeping, okay, change the color to gray. All right. So I have to change this color to gray. Okay. So to do that, what I'm going to do is use the color bar to match. Okay. So here we have a difficulty that we don't know what color code this particular color has. Okay. So to regulate this, what we are going to do is we are going to learn a new tool now. All right. So if in case we want to copy a color from the existing reference to the other or other object. Okay, so to do that, I am going to click on I in my keyboard. Okay, so I'm going to click on I key from my keyboard. So what happened is I have changed the tool from selection tool to this tool, which is called as eyedropper. EYE dropper. Okay. So what does this tool do? So this tool helps you copy the color from the existing reference. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, since I have pressed on I, okay, already I have chosen this eyedropper tool, which has turned my selection tool icon to this appearance. All right. So now I am just going to click on this color which I need to copy. So here I am just clicking on this color. So now boom, my shape has this kind of color which is replicated from here. But are we able to see the exact color here? It is looking a bit darker or a bit different from this color. Okay, so in that manner, what we have to do is we have to regulate the sliders which are here to know the exact match of this color. Now I think I am getting somewhere near this exact color. Okay, so here I can also regulate the slider of this RGB colors in order to get the exact color. Okay, so that I can also see a comparison between the different colors. Okay, so as we are going to go forward for our next tool, okay, here now we are going to have our attendance links coming up in our WhatsApp. So from my number, you will be getting the attendance link. To get the attendance link to register that you are present here in today's class, send present to my WhatsApp number from which you are receiving the messages from me. Send present to my WhatsApp number, which I told you yesterday, so that as you send present, you will receive the link back. Once you have typed in present and send the message to the given WhatsApp number, type in yes here in the chat box to indicate that you have sent message. Okay, Shruti has asked us a doubt. So I'll tell you, Shruti, I'll address that doubt. But before that, you can please register your attendance, type and send present to my WhatsApp number from which I am sending you messages, so that once you have done it, you will receive the link back. And once you have done that, you can just type in yes here in the chat box. All right. Super. So many of you have texted. Yes, you will start receiving your link. All right. So meanwhile you receive your link, we will proceed further for the next technique. Okay. So before we could proceed further for our next technique, here Shruti asked us a doubt, like why do we have to press I in the keyboard? Okay. So this I shortcut basically shifts you to the eyedropper tool. You will receive it. Okay, once you have sent present to the respective WhatsApp number, you will receive the link once uh, everyone sent your messages. Okay, gradually you will receive it. Great. So now what we are going to, you will receive it. Yes. Okay, fine. So yes, those who are not having the mobile phone with you to send messages, you can please ping me once you get your mobile with you, once you are back. Okay, anyhow, you will receive. Okay, those who have sent messages, you will receive it within the end of the class. All right. So no worries. Now back to this eyedropper tool. All right. So this shortcut I. Okay. So now I am going back to the selection tool. Okay. Now here I am here in the selection tool. As soon as I click on I. Okay. I in my keyboard, my selection tool shifts to the other icon, so which allows you to copy the color from the existing reference or whichever image you want to copy the color from. All right. So now here, what I did was, as soon as I clicked on I, the cursor, the selection tool icon changed to this particular icon, which looks like a circle with four lines. Okay. Now what I did was, just to copy the color of this background, I just clicked on this color. Okay. So that the color here changed. Now I will show you the other reference as well. Now what I'm going to do is to just let you know the difference. I am now clicking on this orange color. Okay. So now you will be able to observe that my rectangle has changed to orange color. Okay. So this is how you can shift between different colors that you want to copy. Okay. So now that we have created the background, now what is the second step that I have to do in order to recreate the same image? Again, give me your instructions. What is the second step that I can follow to recreate the exact image? Please don't panic. You will receive the link. Don't panic. You will receive the link. Okay. So not to worry. You can please concentrate now. Great. So what is the second instruction that I have to follow in order to recreate the image? Shape. Can you please be precise? What shape or which one I have to do? What's the next instruction I have to follow? So we do have some three different shapes, or I mean a few different differences here in the image. Okay. Evangeline, you will receive it. Please don't panic. You will receive it obviously. Create the brown rectangle. Okay, so now we are going to create this brown rectangle. So for that, what we have to do again is we will switch back to the rectangle shape. Okay, now, okay, so now I have shifted to the rectangle. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to create this rectangle. So for that, I am just again going to draw a shape again. Okay, so this time I will again select the eyedropper tool, and this time I'm going to copy the color from this brown. Okay, now I have created the rectangle. So next to this, what is the instruction that I have to follow? What's the next instruction that I have to follow? I have created the brown rectangle. What's the next instruction that I need to follow? Yes, guys, whoever did not receive the links yet, please hold on. Please don't get panicked. You will receive it either in the WhatsApp, or you will receive it in the live stream itself, maybe towards the end. Okay, now please shift your focus to the reference that I am creating. Now, Fatima says that we have to create the green rectangle. Okay. So now we are again going to go to the rectangle, and again I am going to create a smaller rectangle now. All right. So now to again copy the color, I am clicking on I in my keyboard, or I can just click on this tool here. Okay, so once I click on that tool, I will be able to see an icon like this, like how I'm able to see here, or I will be able to see an icon which is exactly shown here. Okay, so both these indicate that the eyedropper tool is activated. Okay, now I am going to click on this green color to get that green color fill here in the rectangle. Now that we have created the background, now next to this, what can we create? Next to this, what is the instruction that I have to follow? Yes. Now what's the next instruction that I can follow? After that cylindrical shape on top of that green rectangle. This one you mean? Yes, Shweta, as I told you, you will receive the attendance link either in your WhatsApp or in the live chat itself towards the end of the stream. Don't panic. Now, as Gayatri, Shruti, Hashni are all saying, we will create this cylinder, okay, which is right here. Now, to create that cylinder, what we are going to do is we will, okay, now here when we closely observe, what is the shape that you are able to see here? What are the shapes you can see here? What shapes are we able to see here? They are just the rectangles. They are not any other shape. They are just the rectangle. Triangle, cube, or rectangle. Okay, so I received so many different answers. So here, these are just the rectangle shapes that we are able to see here. Okay, so now what I am going to do is I am going to create two different rectangles of two different sizes as it is shown here. Okay, so to do that, I am first creating the leg of the rectangle. Okay, once I have done it, now I am going to draw one more rectangle on top of it. Okay, so now I have created the base form. Okay, now I am having a task where I need to bring in some enhancements in this rectangle. Okay, so to bring, I mean, as of now, it's like I mean, like how I showed you yesterday, which was the one of the elements of designs, which is form. Okay, the shadow of an element is the form. Okay, which allows the user think that there is some depth in the shape. Okay, so here also we are having that kind of shade which allows the user think that there is a form here, in there is a depth here in the shape. Okay, great, good, Shruti, that's good. Yes, so we are now going to create that form. Okay, so to create that form, what we are going to do is, again, we are going to bring in one, or sorry, two more smaller rectangles with a darker shade. Okay, so to do that, actually, when we look even more clear, we have to create few more rectangles. Okay, so here we are going to create one, two. Okay, this small shape is of different shade, so one rectangle. Then again here we are having another rectangle, two. Then here we have another rectangle, three. Then here we have one more rectangle, four. Then here we have one more rectangle, five. And here we have one more rectangle, six. Okay, so now what we are going to do is, in order to bring this shape here, okay, so here I am going to shrink this rectangle. Okay, so I am just shrinking the shape. Okay, just by closely observing what is here. Okay, I am again going to switch to my rectangle tool, and now I am creating a separate rectangle here, but this time I am going to change this rectangle's color to a darker shade. Okay, the same thing I am going to do here. I will just shrink this rectangle. All right, and now I am going to draw one more smaller rectangle to cover up, and I am just extending it. So this time I am going to color this particular rectangle. Okay, by selecting it, I am activating the eyedropper tool. Now I am clicking on it. So here my rectangle's color is changed. Okay, similarly, I am going to change the colors of these two rectangles too by selecting them and clicking on the color here with the eyedropper tool. The same thing I am going to do for this rectangle as well. So I am just changing or selecting the rectangle and then clicking the eyedropper tool. I am clicking over here so that the color here gets copied. Okay, now I have formed one base shape. Okay, still I am not able to see that kind of depth I am able to see here. Okay, that is because I have not yet brought in that kind of thick borders over here. So to do that, I am again going to create some smaller rectangles. Okay, so to create those smaller rectangles, now I need to create four different smaller rectangles. Okay, one here, two, three, and four. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I am just holding it here All right. Now I am zooming in so much so that I am able to know the difference or work with the minor parts. Okay. So now I have drawn a smaller rectangle. All right. Now, after I have drawn the smaller rectangle, here I am going to teach you one more technique. Okay. So, usually we tend to copy one shape or copy something, right? Here in Illustrator, if you want to duplicate, if you want to copy a shape or an existing text, what you have to do is select the shape that you are going to copy, okay, with the selection tool. All right. Then once you have switched to the selection tool and selected a shape, okay, hold Alt button in your keyboard. Alt. There is this Alt button in your keyboard. Okay. By selecting the shape, hold Alt button in your keyboard. Once you hold Alt button in your keyboard, your arrow mark will change to two different arrow marks. Can you see the difference? If you are able to see the difference, notice the difference between holding Alt with the selection tool, type in yes different in the chat box. If you are able to notice the difference between holding Alt by holding the selection tool, type in yes different in the chat box. Superb. As the answers are keeping to come in, now I am going to tell you that magic trick that allows you to copy a shape. Okay, now holding that selection button. Okay, here I am clicking on Alt and holding the Alt button. Now what I am going to do is, by having my cursor holding Alt inside the shape, I am going to give left click in my mouse and I am going to bring in the same shape from the existing shape here. Can you see? I have brought in one more shape from the existing shape by clicking on Alt. Okay, so like this, I can duplicate how many ever shapes I want. All right. So now what I'm going to do is, this is how you can duplicate something. Okay. I will also show that in a wider aspect. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll select this bigger rectangle. Okay. With the selection tool on. Now I am clicking and holding Alt. I am giving the left click and I am bringing in the other rectangle. All right, so this is how we can duplicate anything from our artworks. Okay, so again, I did the same for the orange rectangle. So now I am again clicking on this this rectangle, this light green rectangle, and again I'm bringing it out. Pavitra, so a few of them have not received the link yet. So not to worry, please don't close the form. Once I send the link here in the live chat, they can register and then we can close the form. Thanks for that. Yes, others, please don't panic. You will receive the link and only after you register that the link will be closed. Okay, not to panic. The link will be sent to you here in the live chat or in the WhatsApp as you received yesterday. Not to panic. Now we will get back to the duplicate thing that we were doing. Okay, so now what I am going to do is I am going to expand this rectangle throughout the entire shape to cover that. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I am zooming in even more. okay, so that I get that scaling tool. Okay, this time I'm not going to hold shift button. Why I am not going to hold the shift button? Because once I hold the shift button, it will scale from all the points. Okay, but here I need to maintain the same length as the other rectangle. Okay, so to do that, I am not holding on shift. I am just scaling this side of the rectangle here. Okay, now I have scaled the rectangle. Now the duty of mine is to copy the color from here. So to do that, I am again switching to the eyedropper tool and keeping my cursor here, so that this rectangle is filled with that green color. The same thing I am going to do this for the smaller rectangle. I have selected the smaller rectangle, and again I am going to press on I to copy the color from here, and then yes, so that color is pasted here. Now can you see that we are creating that depth for our image which was looking plain before? So similarly, we are going to do it for this bottom part of the shape as well. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am again going to duplicate this shape. So I have held on Alt by selecting it, and I am pasting it here. But now this time my rectangle needs to be just small. Okay, so for that I am just making it, scaling it just a bit smaller. The same thing, I am selecting this smaller rectangle, and then I am holding Alt and I am duplicating it. Now once I have brought it and fixed it here, I am just uh, holding the select, scale, and then I am bringing the exact size of the shade. Now by doing this, what I'm going to do is again I need to shift the shade. Okay, so I am clicking on eyedropper tool again and zooming in here to copy the color and paste it here. The same way I am going to select this rectangle. Again, I am clicking on I to get the eyedropper tool. Again, I'm going here, clicking on the shape, and then yes, the color is pasted. So now when we look at this, our object also looks like it has some depth in it. Type in yes, please don't get panicked. As I told you, as Pavitra was saying, the form will close in for 15 minutes. Needn't have to worry, since some of you have not received your link yet. You will receive it only after you receive the link. The link will be closed. So please don't panic, and just don't be staying there. Come to the reference that we are creating here. Anyhow, you will not, the link will not be closed without you guys registering in that. Okay, so don't worry. Yes, please don't worry. Yeah. So now that we have created this cylinder which is here, and the cylinder also looks like it has a depth in it, right? So now what is the next instruction that you guys give me to create the other shape which is here in the image? What's the next instruction for me? Just type it in a word, or send me the instruction as you were giving me earlier. Form triangle. Okay, so Shruti has said us to form triangle, curved triangle. So we need to create a triangle, but this time the triangle has to be with the curved corners. Okay, so to do that, what we are going to do is, what should we do to draw a triangle? Can you please guide me with it? How can we draw a triangle? Yes, what's the instruction that I have to follow to draw a triangle? How can I create a triangle? Polygon, superb. So we have to go to the polygon tool, okay, and then we have to draw a polygon. This time we are going to click on the properties and click on the three dots here by selecting our polygon, and we have to reduce the count to 3 in order to create a triangle. Okay, so now I have created the triangle, and this time I am going to expand the size a bit more, and now I am going to curve the triangle like this. Okay, so now to copy the color, I am going to click on I for the eyedropper tool. Okay, now this time I'm just going to click on the face of the character to get that brown color. Okay, so if we now what we will do is, if we closely observe, okay, yes, so as so many of you asked, you have received the attendance link here in the chat box. You can please go register in that attendance link, register your presence, and then please get back. Yes, so as you are registering your attendance, we will proceed further. Right, so here when we closely observe, we get to see that there is some there is some form for this object. Okay, so there we are able to see some kind of thickness in the edge of it, okay, which is making it look like the object has some depth in it. Okay, so to create that, what we are going to do is, we are going to duplicate this triangle. Okay, so as I told you earlier, to duplicate the triangle, I am just selecting the triangle, and then I am clicking on Alt. Okay, so and then I click on Alt and I move the triangle a bit, and then I leave my cursor there. So now can you see there are two different triangles which are shown here. Okay, so now what we are going to do is, we are going to learn one another important technique. Okay, so what is that technique? So here we are going to learn one more thing. Okay, so which is when we right click. Okay, right click on the triangle which is selected. All right, so here we will get few options. Okay, so after we get that, there is one option which says arrange. So if you see that arrange option, there are few other options showing up. So in these options, there is something called as send to back. Once you select that, your shape will be sent behind. Here you are going to learn one important concept when it comes to the software. So there is something called as layers. Layers, layers. Okay. So to explain this concept, I am going to take the example of a notebook. Okay, so imagine you are having 100 pages notebook. Okay. And I am asking you to write in the center page of the notebook. All right. So now when I ask you to write in the center page of the notebook, will you tend to write in the center page of the notebook from the top page, or will you turn the pages and write in the center page of the notebook? Which one you will do? Will you turn the pages to the center page of the notebook and then write something, or will you tend to write from the top page itself? If it is option 1, where you will turn the pages and write something inside, then send option 1, type in option 1 here in the chat box. Or if you say that you will write from the top of the page, which will create something, which will create the writing in the center page, you can type in option 2. Which option you will do if I am asking you to write something in the center page of the notebook? Will you follow option 1, where you will turn the pages to the center page and write something there? Or will you try to write something from the top of the notebook so that it follows or falls in the center page? Option 2. So, are you saying that you will just try to write from the top of the notebook so that it falls in the center page of the notebook? So it's option 1, right? So wherein you try to turn the pages of the notebook and then write in the center page. So this is what layer concept is. Okay. So there is some concept called as layers here in the illustrator. So these layers act as individual papers in a notebook. Okay, so each layer which you are seeing here is a notebook, sorry, is a paper. Okay, so these papers are arranged one after the other. Okay, so here, whenever you are dealing with a shape, whenever you are drawing a shape here, those shapes are arranged in layers. Okay, which will let you create different shapes one after the other. So as you are seeing here, which is the layer that is aligned on top of all the other pages? Can you type in which layer is aligned on top of all the other layers that you see here? Can you type in the name of the layer that you are able to see here on top of all the other layers? Yes, so many of you are typing in option 1, where I am glad that you are understanding the concept. Now you can type in which is the layer that you are able to see on top of all the other layers present here. So superb, Sanchita. So it is the polygon which is aligned on top of all the other layers. Okay. So now when we take a closer look, okay, previously when we duplicated this triangle, okay, when we selected the other triangle and we right clicked, then we gave arranged, sorry, when we gave the option arrange and when we gave the option send to back, okay, so the shape was sent backside to this rectangle. Okay, so can you see that polygon here? All right, so now in order to bring this polygon right behind the other other triangle, what we are going to do is we are going to select this polygon and we are going to move it. Okay, I'm just clicking and dragging it and dropping it right next to the polygon layer here. Okay, so previously it was here in the bottom. Okay, that is why. Okay, now what I'll do is just to differentiate it, what I'm going to do is I'll just change the color of this polygon. Okay, I'll change it to somewhere in black. All right, so now I'm able to see the black color polygon here. Okay, so my black color polygon is here. Now what I'm going to do is I am selecting this black color polygon. Okay, so here I have selected the black color polygon and giving it right click, arrange, and I'm giving send to back. Where did my polygon go? So the same logic as according to the notebook. Okay, so if you want to witness the last paper of the notebook, it means that you have to turn all the other pages right before the last paper of the notebook. Okay, so the same logic is applied here. If you want to witness this last layer, which is like the last paper of the notebook, it means that you have to bring that last paper to wherever you want it to be witnessed. Okay, now I have brought in, dragged and placed it here right next to the polygon layer. Okay, so this polygon is going to act as the depth which we are able to see here. We are able to see some darker shade of brown, right? So we are going to create that kind of depth here. Okay, now that I have duplicated it, I am moving it a bit closer. Okay, I want to create that kind of depth here, but I don't want that depth to look so obvious, because here I have the depth, but the depth is not very obvious. So to do that, I have just created the polygon. Okay, so instead of black color, I am going to copy the exact same color like this. So I am switching to the eyedropper tool, and this time I am zooming in. Okay, and I am selecting on this color. Okay, now can you see the same depth that we have is created here? But we do have a thing. So here we have some shining white color. Okay, so to get this, what we are going to do is we are again going to duplicate this tool, and this time we are going to place it here. Okay, and this time we are going to go to the eyedropper tool, and then we are going to copy the color from here. Okay, now can you see we have created the exact reference like this. All right, so now what we are going to do is since three of these triangles represent only one face, I am going to select these three different triangles together by holding shift button. To select something in collective aspect, I have to hold shift button, and then I am going to right click here. Okay, and then here I have an option called as group. I am going to give that group so that now I can move all the three triangles together. So if I don't hold group, okay, if I'm not grouping them, it means that as I select one triangle, only one will move. Okay, but if I group them together, all those will act like one object. Okay, now as I have grouped them, now if I hold only one, okay, so all the three triangles will move together. All right, so now I have created the face of the character. If you have understood till whatever we have seen today, please type in clear if the concepts are very clear for you. Type in CLEAR if you have understood. Yes, keep the answers coming. Type in CLEAR if you have understood the concepts. Superb, Fatima has typed in. Yes, we are getting few more clear. Yes, amazing. Great, great, superb. So as we are receiving clear here, now I am also going to tell you some more thing, that if you have not understood it, you will receive this recording here in the channel if you subscribe to the channel. So go subscribe to the channel and type in subscribe here in the live chat if you have already subscribed the channel. If you have subscribed to the channel, type in subscribe here in the live chat so that you will receive the notifications of the recordings that we are handling here in our live stream. So go subscribe and type in subscribe if you have already done it. Or if you have not, go subscribe it and then type in subscribe so that you will receive the recordings for you for the further references. Great. So Gayatri has subscribed. Superb. So you will start receiving the recordings, Gayatri. Superb. Anu has also subscribed. Superb, superb. So we have so many people here who have started to subscribe so that you will all receive the notifications of the recording of the sessions that we are doing here. Okay. Right. So now we will proceed further and we will create the character. Okay. So today's class, we will just extend a 5 more minutes so that we can finish off our reference image, which will help you in creating the same. Okay. Now, next to this, we are going to create the body of the character. Okay. So here in time, superb guys, those who have subscribed, you will start receiving the okay, Jaya has said that she has subscribed it yesterday itself. That's an amazing move, Jaya. Thank you so much for that. You will receive the recordings. Yes. So now proceeding further. Now, what is the next instruction for me to create the body of the character? How can I create the body of the character? What shape I can handle to create the body of the character? Yes. What's the instruction that I am going to receive to create the body of the character, which is like light brown in color. This one. So what shape I can handle to create the body of the character? Circle, circle, ellipse, then form a rectangle shape using a direct selection tool. Then what else? Any other suggestions? Okay, so here we are going to create a rectangle. Okay, so just to avoid clumsiness, I will create a rectangle outside this image. Okay, and then here what I'm going to do is I'm just creating a rectangle. Okay, or a square or a small square. Okay, so now I just have to curve the bottom two points. Okay, so to do that, what I mean on top here, anyhow it is going to go behind this triangle shape. Okay, so I am not so very concerned about this top two nodes. Okay, so I am just going to curve both the bottom nodes. Okay, so to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the properties, and here by clicking the three dots, I am going to curve in both the corners. Okay, so I will keep it to 30. The same way I am going to type in 30. Okay, now we have got the rounded shape here. Okay, now what we are going to do is we are going to copy the color of this one. Okay, so to do that, I am going to press I. Okay, and then I am bringing my eyedropper tool to this part, and then I am copying the color. Okay, now I am going to take this here and I am placing it here. Okay, now my square shape is on top of the triangle. Now I have to send this square shape behind this triangle. So what I have to do to move it behind the triangle? So what is the instruction you are giving me to move this square shape behind the triangle? How can I move it behind it? Yes, keep the answers coming. Send to back. Amazing, Fatima. So here I am opening the layers, and now I am dragging this rectangle and dropping it behind, below this group that I have here. Now I have the square which is sent to back of this triangle. Superb. Yes. Now we are going to create the legs of the character. So to create the legs of the character, I am going to go here and then I will open the ellipse tool. Alright. So now again, to avoid the clumsiness, I will create the shape outside the background and then I will bring it here. Okay. Now I am clicking the, creating an ellipse. Alright. So here my ellipse looks tilted. So to do that, I am rotating the ellipse. Alright. Now I need to create the darker part of the ellipse. To do that, I am just duplicating it. Okay. So I will duplicate it and I will paste it here. Okay. So now I will move this ellipse backwards to this. Okay. So now I am going to copy the color from here. Okay. Now I have a darker appearance here. Alright. Now what I am going to do is I am going to duplicate this again to form this smaller ellipse. Okay. So to do it, I am just dragging in one duplicate shape. Okay. And I am making it a bit smaller by holding shift. Alright. And I am changing first changing the color of this ellipse which is here. Okay, so I will click on this so that it looks a bit okay. Now here the color does not seem to be so appropriate. Now what I am going to do is let me just this has become so light. Okay, but still we are not able to get that kind of lighter brown color. Okay, now it is somewhat better, I guess. Now again, I am bringing it inside. Okay, but this time I am expanding the ellipse without holding shift. Okay, yeah. So here I have the ellipse created. Okay, so now again I am going to group in all the three shapes together. Okay, so I am just dragging them and then I am right clicking here, then group. Okay, so my shapes are grouped. Now I am going to bring it and place it here as the legs of my character. Okay, so the same thing I am, what this time I am not going to have this smaller ellipse, but I am going to have other two ellipses. Okay, so I am selecting both of those ellipses from here and I am rotating it, making it a bit smaller, bringing it here, and then I am sending them a bit backwards. Okay, I will send both these things backwards to this um, rectangle. Okay, all right. Now we have created, okay, this time what has happened is, yeah, now it looks good. Okay, both these we are going to group. All right, so now we will make it a bit bigger. All right, I am just selecting this and I am making it a bit bigger so that I'm exactly matching with it. Okay, now we have created the body of our character. All right, now we'll just create, this one we will hold it for tomorrow, or you will receive the same image for you to practice in your Illustrator. If you are able to recreate the same image with your Illustrator, having installed one by saying the tutorial that we have sent you from my WhatsApp number, you can please recreate the entire image with these yellow things as well. But for those who are requiring more support, you can please go through the recording. Okay, so now we are going to just create the eyeball of the eyes of the character. So to create the eyes of the character, again we are going to create two ellipses. Okay, as of now, say when I closely look into both the both the eyes, they are almost similar, just with minor differences. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am just going to create one and then I'm going to duplicate the other eye as well. All right, so now here I am creating the white space of it. All right, so now I have created an ellipse and then I am going to color it with white. All right, once I have done that, when I closely observe, here I am able to see that form, okay, which is kind of looking like depth. So now I am going to just duplicate it. All right, so I'll just duplicate it, paste it here. All right, and then I am using the eyedropper tool, and from here I am copying that color. Okay, now what has happened is this white color is below that brown color, so I am going to bring this white color on top of it. All right, now I have a complete shape here. Now proceeding further, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one more ellipse for the smaller black icon, black eyeball, which is there. All right, I'm making it a bit smaller and then this time I'm going to color it with black. So now I will place the black eyeball inside. Okay, so inside this I am going to create one more smaller ellipse. Okay, and then I'm going to color it with white. Okay, so this time I'm going to color it with white and then I am going to take it inside and paste it. I know it is taking a bit of time, but hold on, we'll create this character alone and then we will wind it off. Okay, I really appreciate the 54 members of you who are still here. So good. We'll just finish it off and then we'll wind. Okay. Now I am moving it again according to the reference here. Okay. Now I have created the character. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to group all of them together because everything over here is going to just serve as one eye. Okay, now it looks too big, so I'm going to reduce the size of it and then I'm going to place it here. The same way, I am just going to duplicate the eye. So I'll just hold on Alt and then I'll just rotate it like this. Okay, this time I just have to change the white color shade which is inside. Okay, so to do that, I'll just select that alone and then I am going to go to the properties and here I am just going to shift the direction of it. Okay, and also along with it, I am also going to, okay, before I could do that, what I'll try to do is I'll try to select the entire group here. Okay, and then in the properties, I'll try to replicate it. Okay, so now I have framed the eyes of the character. All right, so I will stop till this here. Okay, I am leaving the rest to all of you. Okay, you will receive the same image in your WhatsApp. Okay, so once you have installed Illustrator in your respective systems, you can please go through the recording. You can come up with your own recreation of the same reference image which you will receive in your WhatsApp tonight. Okay, so you need not stop it wherever I have stopped. I am just stopping it because we are already running out of time. So you can just create in the all the entire image, okay, with whatever your understanding is towards the image. You can use in any shape, you can use in any color, you can use any technique, whichever we have learned so far. Okay, so having said this, I sign off here for this day. And thank you so much for joining for the second day of graphic designing course organized by Rotary Club of Madras Metro and presented by Tech-iera Innovations, and Ramya here signing off for the day. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye. Good night. If there is any query, please write it to the WhatsApp number of mine from which you are receiving messages from me. Thank you, Gayatri. Thank you, Shruti. Thank you, Sudashni. Thank you, Jocelyn. Thank you, Vaishali. Thank you, Josephine. Bye. Good night. Thank you. Good night, Sandhya. Thank you, Hashni. Thank you, Fatima. Thank you, Srivashni. Thank you, Pavitra. Thank you, Kanishka. Thank you, Jebelin. Thank you, Bhargavi. Thank you, Akshya. Good night, Bhargavi. Thank you, Annie. Thank you, Anu. Thank you, Kritika. Thank you, Nikita.